So here we go. It's Big League Live. We've got our first debate, I guess. First debate episode.
Inaugural.
Inaugural, I think.
Let's get the word out.
First debate that you'll see on YouTube, obviously. Look, with the influx of we've got British players, the Pommy players at the moment, with the likes of the Burgesses. Burgesses.
Gareth Ellis on the cover this week.
There you go. Nice segue, Tony. I like that. And obviously James Graham. The debate today is who is the best ever Pommy player to come to Australia.
My favourite was Henderson Gill.
Yeah.
No doubt. His calves are too big for his socks.
You couldn't pull them up though, that big actually.
They're too big. He lit up the Rabbitohs wing for I think one season and made a massive impression on a lot of young kids.
He did too. A lot of runaway tries. I do remember the calf muscles, but they were just massive.
Yeah, I mean, going back, a lot of people consider Mal Reilly to be the most influential Pommy forward to come out. He was just a brutal presence in that Manly forward pack of the late 70s, and he had a great influence as well when he came and coached the Knights to that premiership in 97. So he's right up there. Kevin Ward was a guy who made a big impact for Manly, played in their premiership team in 87. I don't know, best ever. I mean, Ellery Hanley's the best English player we've ever seen.
Yeah, look, the Black Pearl.
Yeah, like obviously I'm a bit of a younger generation to you two, Silver Foxes. So I'd probably have to go with Adrian Morley. Is probably the most influential player I've seen.
He did his time too. He was here for a long time, and
it wasn't a stint, was it? It was. No. He really left his mark on the game, and even he probably caught too much of a bad rap with the kind of judiciary side of things, and I think he probably missed too many games than he deserved to. But he was a really good player, and really led that Roosters team around for years and years.
Would they have won that premiership without him?
So I mean, then you think Fittler was probably the key to that. But you need growing up front, like every premiership side always has a couple of key forwards who really get a side moving, and I think he was one for that side.
And it's funny because he did spend a lot of time in the judiciary, but off the field he was absolute genuine gentleman. Yeah, like he was.
I can actually tell that I was working at the good old East Leagues Club. It's a great establishment, and this was back when he was still the Roosters, and I probably met him 5 or 10 times, and he was the nicest guy of the whole team. It was an absolute.
And he was perfect for that Ricky Stewart structure and style of just up and in your face, and he just led that style of play so well. And they were brutal. They must have been the fastest moving defensive line the game's seen in a long time. Well, they just belted teams, and he was a massive part of that.
And he led the charge. Yeah. So.
But Balmain, you'd have to say, over the years have had the best of the Pommy. I mean, they've got Gareth Ellis at the moment, and in those late 80s, in those grand finals, Andy Courier alongside Ellery Hanley were just fantastic players and really added a lot to that Balmain backline.
And the thing is, you only need, like with Gareth Ellis for this week, you only need to look back to a couple of years ago when Tim Sheens mentioned he was the best. Said something about he was the best buy. The Tigers, the new Tigers franchise ever made, basically, or something along those lines. And for his 3 full seasons here to win the best player of the club, that says something about the kind of player he is. And as we were saying before, off air, I guess you could say. It was only basically for the Tigers' lack of premiership success that he's not going to be remembered in the same kind of echelon as maybe Adrian Morley.
So how do we rate the current guys in the NRL, the James Grahams and the Burgess boys?
I think they've got to do their time first. I think we've seen a lot of the Burgesses, but I think that time's still yet to come. I think they've still got a lot to prove. You can benchmark. I think there's another Burgess on the way as well.
Yep. And we spoke to Burgess' mother. She's got a couple more. There's a production line
up there.
But, for all it looks as though Sam will play here for the rest of his career.
I think so. It looks like that.
The noise is coming out of Redfern, I guess.
Yeah.
That he wants to stay here for an extended period. So
who knows? We might see all the Burgesses play State of Origin the way it's going.
I think James Graham, the way he's adapted to this team, this competition, and the way the Bulldogs have played, he's impressed me no end. I think week in, week out, his numbers, I think his metre numbers are up there with the best in the comp. He's only started a handful of games, so he's got the potential to really be a big part of that Bulldogs team for the next few years. But I think the Burgess boys might leave the longest dynasty at one club.
And I think they're different players as well. But Graham's a real worker. He's a real workhorse, kind of you almost, a lot of the time, you don't notice a lot of the good things that he does. Whereas, you know, Sam Burgess is big hits. You know, it's hard not to notice him on the field. So different kind of players. But
Okay, your best ever.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Hyson Frizzle from Wales. Yeah. Maybe Jack Reed.
Look, there's probably a lot we've left out, but
Yeah.
if you're watching this and you want to log your case, yeah, by all means, email us at Big League. And,
I mean,
who's your
Michael
best
Robertson, Scotland.
my best ever, yeah, I'm Henderson Gill man, I reckon. Big Henderson Gill man. I can't get past the Cardinals.
I'm going to go Ellery just over Barry John Mather. The only player to ever play for the Western Reds and be picked for Great Britain. So Barry John right up there, but Ellery Hanley just the best we've ever seen.
On a slightly more serious note than what I said before, I'm probably going to go Malcolm Riley, just the Manly connection.
We went head to head with George Piggins, literally, I think,
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
couple of stages. So, but let's not forget, go Sammy! Go Sammy!
I don't know what that was.
Yeah. Guys, that was Big League Loves Debate. Don't forget, send us in who you think the best Pommy player was to ever grace our football fields over here in Australia. Thank you again, Tony. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Bowie.
We might be back on next week with a big debate. See you later.